Hey rock fans, check it out. These are finally ready for the polish stage. It's been 4 months tumbling in the coarse grit. Yes, some of these have been literally turning in the barrel for some 4 months in the coarse grit. These are the rocks that I found while rock hounding along the Llano River in Rockhounding Texas this last summer. And now we're going to see how well they polish. So what I'm going to do is get these started in the vibratory tumbler, and I will check back with you guys as soon as they are done getting nice and shiny. The rocks made it through the final polish stages, and well, what do you think? For the most part, they turned out pretty shiny. Now, there are a couple of duds in here, and I'll show you those in a second, but overall, I think these turned out great. So let's take a closer look at some of the nicer ones. Here's this big chunk of banded chert. I like the way this turned out. Now, do you remember how this one looked when I first found it that day along the river? I'd say that's quite a transformation. What do you think? And then there's this big piece of banded chert. Look at this. It's not as colorful as I had hoped, but I still think it turned out really nice. Do you recall how this one looked when I first found it along the river? Let's see. Now that's what I call a nice transformation. What do you think? Now this one's a little disappointing. I remember it was the first rock I found that day, and unfortunately I just couldn't get it to grind out smoothly with the coarse grit tumbling. There were just too many of these little voids in here. Otherwise though, it turned out pretty nice. What do you think? Remember how this one looked when we first started? Yeah, so clearly a transformation. For the better, I hope. And here's another piece of banded chert. I sure like the way this stuff tumbles and shines. Look at that. Now this rock broke into 3 pieces during the tumbling, but all 3 pieces actually look really nice in my opinion. Look at that. I love it. Some sort of agate, but look at some of the detail in there. Isn't that pretty? I like how this turned out. Even this little chip here on the end. How did this one look when I first found it? Quite a bit different, as you can see. I like the way this one turned out. Very cool. Look at all that agate goodness in there. Very interesting rock. Some kind of jasp agate, I suppose. This was some sort of mystery rock. I remember thinking at first it was a fossil of some type, maybe even petrified wood, and then I got it home and I wasn't sure anymore. You can see it's a little bit translucent. Now that it's all shiny and tumbled, I still don't know what it is. Started off looking a lot different though. What do you think about that transformation? That's really something. Nice polish. Now this little piece of banded chert has been on quite a journey. It looked a lot different when I found it. It needed a lot of tumbling to get it smooth like this because it was such an odd shape. Do you remember that? Well, I like the way it turned out. Even though it's a lot smaller, I think it's beautiful. What do you think? Well, then you can just see some of the other ones here. They turned out pretty nice. This agate in particular I like. This is the one I called the Black Lightning agate. You see it has that, well, it's kind of hard to see now, but there were those black sections. Yeah, right in there. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the way that turned out. Very pretty. Do you remember how this one looked when I first found it? Yeah, quite a difference. Quite a difference, but I like the way it turned out. And then we just have some more of the banded cherts and other miscellaneous rocks here. Nothing too exciting. There are some duds I should point out. This being one of them, my donut fossil rock. As you can see, it's just too soft. It did not take a good shine at all. That's unfortunate. It was a cool rock. Sorry, rock. Just wasn't your day. Here was another one here. This was that gray fossil rock I found. I was hoping maybe because it was some gray material, maybe it would do better, but as you can see, it has the same problem. The little fossils just were not going to get shiny. And then I forgot, this was some little fossil-y rock that I found that ground down to nothing and also didn't take a shine. So there are the big time duds right there. along with, this was a rock that broke. This really has very little going for it. I thought when I first found it, it might be some kind of agate, but looking at it now, you can see it's just a chunky little rock that had a few hard sections that did polish, but the rest of it is just crap. So, good riddance to that. And of course, we have a couple little pieces of petrified wood. This one on the left has a decent shine. This one on the right, not so much. I still love petrified wood, and I pick it up whenever I find it. Little banded shirt here. That's pretty. What do you think of that? Nice shine on that. There's the old phone. Yeah, that turned out pretty. Well, there you go. There are the rocks I polished that I found that day rock hounding along the Llano River near Junction, Texas. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please be sure and check my other videos for more like this. Thanks again.